Conservatives fighting critical race theory and woke education, celebrating some big victories in Florida. A vast majority of local school board candidates backed by Governor Ron DeSantis won their elections last night. The wins flipped the ideological makeup from liberal to conservative and are likely to have a huge impact on what kids are taught in that state. Several of the candidates were also very vocal about pandemic restrictions. Tyrus, you think about what happened. Youngkin got elected down in Virginia. This is a big part of it. This seems to not be as big an issue there it was. Is this going to come back, you think, as an issue in the fall elections? I think the Americans, especially American parents, are focused now, and they're invested because of the way they were treated during the pandemic. And now this is where I don't always think it's necessarily going to be a necessarily Republican conservative thing. It's going to be the adult in the room thing. This is where moderate Democrats have a chance to fix that progressive thing. The progressive way, the woke style is being rejected. One of the best things about the whole Twitter purchase is that we realized that it's a lot of more bots than we did. And I was on this show when I said it's not 2%, it's like 20%, to the point where everyone's seeing how much of the woke agenda and that critical race theory stuff was not backed by actual real people. And when parents, doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican, I don't want my children growing up thinking just because the color of someone's skin's next to them is something wrong with them. And that's what that stuff was doing. So, and parents were vilified for it, and they're coming out in force. And I said, it's going to be the mom and dads in this country who are making the decision, and we're seeing it firsthand, where normally most probably wouldn't even vote in this situation. But they're making that point. Yeah, Dana P?
I would just say I've long thought that this would be the year of the parent in terms of the midterm election. But it's not just the congressional elections that matter. And what Ron DeSantis has done is say, okay, I'm going to put some muscle behind it and push. And so he got his name ID and all the resources that were needed in order to make this change. This will have a big difference on the local level and perhaps even then have a spillover effect going forward. I also think that the pandemic issue is one that it's not fading in the minds of people. Like, you might have something that happens like the student loan thing. Maybe people sort of forget about that by November. I don't think so, but maybe they do. But on the pandemic restrictions and what happened to children because of it, parents are not going to forget. You hear the same thing?
Absolutely. And you know what's so interesting about this is that school board races at one time were so low voter turnout, so uncontested. It's a silver lining of the pandemic on so many levels. Parents finding out what their kids were being taught, the ideology that was being pushed on them, and the fact that, the teachers had a sense that they control the kids, that they own the kids. And it got the parents in a position where they said, we're going to start bringing back this country, our values, or the values that we thought were always being taught. We're not going to tolerate this nonsense anymore. I mean, this is a huge win, and it's going to be reflected big time in the midterms.
The girls, Jesse Jr., how do you think about these issues, and are parents reacting the right way?
Well, I would never try to be on a school board. I'm just not that type of person. But I like the fact that conservatives need to start at the grassroots level. Conservatives do well when it's bottom up, not top down. So whether it's a school board, whether it's a dog catcher, whether it's agricultural commissioner, whatever, if you have conservative, common sense parents and people out in the local politics community taking ownership of their towns and their cities and their counties, that starts something. And then you build up from that. And then maybe that person goes on to be city council or congressman or governor, something like that. Start it here, because a lot of times conservative parents, they check out, they're at work, they don't get involved, and it's these like little nitty control freak Democrat libs that get involved in all these like local things, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, like the whole town's gone to hell. Right. All right, so it's good people are waking up.
How do the Democrats?
You know how they get in there, they want to control everything. Like, we need a stop sign here. Like
wear a mask.
Yeah, wear a mask. And all of a sudden, you're like, what happened to my city? You know how it is.
With that coming up, Hillary Clinton losing another big contest. We'll tell you about it in the fastest.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.